Hello and welcome to Toastmasters Beta Bay, where we feature speakers from Monterey to San Francisco. I am your host, Rishi Nakra. Our first speaker, Beau Safken, will be speaking from the Entertaining Speaking Manual. The title of his speech is Find a Hobby That Pays. Objectives for Beau's speech are to draw humorous or dramatic material other than his own personal experiences, and to use entertaining material as a means of conveying a serious message. In addition to the manual objectives, his personal objectives for his speech are to have fun, to get people thinking, and to smile. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Beau Safken.
Thank you very much, Rishi. Now, folks, how many of you guys have a hobby that you take every day that just fills you with a lot of enjoyment and happiness? Now, what if I told you that hobby could pay some bills? Right? Now, how many people would be interested in paying bills with hobbies? All right, unanimous. Everyone likes the idea of money and having fun. So what I'm going to show you is 3 different approaches you can take that some of my friends have used in order to monetize their hobbies. I have one lady named Stacey, and she's a traveling salesperson, but also a vegan. So had to figure out how to find that lifestyle even in the middle of Kansas City. I have another buddy named Bill, who's a woodworker, and his house keeps getting broken into, so he's building furniture with safes hidden inside of them. And I'm telling you, making a killing on it. And then there's another guy named Beau that does intellectual property stuff and makes video game videos and pays for his kid. So is any of that interesting so far? Because I can tell you every one of those people makes money at their hobby. So let's start with Stacey. Now Stacey is a traveling sales lady. She has to go all over the United States in order to sell for the company I used to work for. Now her problem is she's a strict vegan. By strict, I mean strict vegan. Now it doesn't seem too big a deal if you're in the San Francisco area, but when you go out to Chicago or you go to like the down south in Mississippi, you run into problems, and she always did. You know, she could never find it, but she was real diligent about finding restaurants that catered to her, places that she felt comfortable, that all the stuff was organic. And she had this huge directory of places that she had. And she thought to herself, what if I put this on Elance and said, if you're a vegan and you want to travel but have an itinerary created around your lifestyle, I have that. And she thought nobody would buy it. Nobody. She was flooded with people because her service was just not there. So she's making like $3,000 a month just making itineraries. So even though there's the Expedias of the world that can give you your ticket and your hotel, they can't get you the organic tofu place in the middle of Alabama, but Stacey can. So that's just one way, is providing a service. The other way is my buddy Bill. And he, as I said before, builds furniture with concealed safes inside of them. Now, why would you want a concealed safe? Well, in Bill's case, because we're in San Francisco, he's got roommates. When you got roommates, they have friends you've never met before. So he was having stuff stolen all the time, and he got real sick of it. And he thought, if I had a nightstand that had a hidden safe inside of it, I could put all my valuables in my room, and no one would ever know about it. So again, one of his friends comes over and looks at this and says, where's all your stuff, dude? I don't even see it, your phone, I don't see anything. And then he opens up this hidden compartment in his nightstand to show all his stuff, and it went crazy. He sells 4 to 5 of these things a month. He enjoys doing it, and he charges $300 to $500 a piece for these things. It's almost like a 70% margin on everything he makes. It is wondrous. To my accounting heart, it bleeds all lights of green, and it's wonderful. And that's by providing a product. The one way that I would suggest for everybody, though, is much better: intellectual property sales. Now, this doesn't sound that sexy, right? No one's going to go out and be like, you know, I'd love to have some intellectual property. Let's sell that out there. But it's not that difficult. Right now, I'm giving a speech in front of a lot of folks. That speech will go to perpetuity, and people can watch it over and over and over again. Just like if you're awesome at, let's say, you know, my friend Birgit is really great at dancing. If you made an information series all about dancing, you would have something that would be able to sell even when you're not dancing, right? And it's something you love to do. So in the case of, well, me, I do video game videos on the side. I actually do about 400,000 impressions a month on my video game videos, even when I'm not making videos, which translates to enough to pay for the baby's daycare, variable expenses on the, it's a list of things. Not to mention, as an accountant, 1099 income is spectacular because you write everything off against it. But no one here in the IRS are out there, so it's okay, right? So all those meals that we go on, we talk about video games for a reason, okay? So I just want to give you guys some ideas, right? When we're talking about different hobbies, like what do you do? What's your passion? What do you really feel hopped up about? But then go that next step. You know, you might be spectacular at making stained glass, but what if you could get someone to pay for all your materials, plus you get an extra 100 in your pocket, but you get to do what you love? You know, what if you enjoy farming or finding things, or providing a service, providing some kind of product, or an intellectual property solution? I mean, all of these things can really add up to lost and potentially earned dollars. So I hope I could give you guys just a little hint as far as what to expect out in the world. That, like, if you have all these hobbies and loves, find a way to match your wallet with your heart. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Beau.
Oh, shit. Yep.
Beau, how long have you been with the Toastmasters, and what's your club's name?
My Toastmasters Club is 56. I've been a Toastmaster for now 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know, right?
And where can we find more information of your gaming that you do?
Oh,
How would we be able to find your intellectual property?
sure. I mean, if you were interested in knowing where I get all my stuff, it's gamingcoachx.com. And I mean, that's just where I've been working at it for the last 3 years to build it into something. So, but you know what the best part about that gig is? Anytime my mom is asking about the kid, I say, "No worries, video games pay for him."
Okay.
Dude, that's so funny.
Now, would you be willing to eat vegan food?
I eat vegan food all the time. I'm married to a Japanese lady, so I mean, you have to eat the Buddhist-style food quite a bit. But the full vegan thing, I mean, that's extreme, dude. I mean, I don't know if I could stomach that for more than a couple meals.
Yeah, that's very brave to go that way, but
Yeah.
Absolutely. And going back to Toastmasters, have you held any officer positions?
I've been a president for 2 terms, VP education more times than I can imagine. I mean, basically, whenever there's a need, I step in and fill it.
And what has your experience been with being an officer?
I think the officer is actually a better position for you if you're trying to really contribute a lot. Because the club, you can only get what you give to a club. I mean, again, we're not getting paid. We're paying to go to these clubs. So, I mean, for me, I get more utility and yield out of being able to say, I want to give back. I mean, my big thing when I was the president was creating an automated scheduling system outside of this hokey-doke like spreadsheet program we had. So it's like, if I could give those people an online tool to solve that problem, my presidency was good.
Oh, thank
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Evaluating Beau's speech will be Birgit Starmanns, who will provide constructive and critical feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Birgit.
Thank you, Rishi. Beau, I absolutely love your energy. You got up here and I think you grabbed us immediately because you were so energetic and so passionate about your topic. I liked from a content standpoint that you used different examples. You had services, you had products, and it all wasn't the same examples. And you gave us a lot of ideas, you know, different types of hobbies. So you had the 3 examples that you went into detail with, but then you remembered that I dance and you reached out to the audience and then had a list of other examples that people might be able to use. So I thought from a content perspective, that was great. The one thing I would say is if you're asking a question, I was getting ready to raise my hand at the very beginning when you said, does anybody have a hobby you're really passionate about? And I was getting ready to raise my hand and you kept going. So I would say you did that later, but for each question that you ask, I would go ahead and take that pause and allow us to think, oh yeah, what is my passion? And at least respond to us and be able to raise our hands. From a presentation perspective, I loved your eye contact. I think you gave us all really, really good eye contact and you had good gestures. I would suggest that you move around a little bit more because you were in one spot and I didn't really see you move around. So you might have taken the opportunity, for example, for each of your 3 people to maybe be in a different place, almost do that type of hologramming kind of thing. And that gives us a little bit more variety because you had the energy, you had the good hand gestures, etc. But I was looking for a little bit more movement when it came to that. So I would suggest that. And I know you mentioned that you had some personal objectives. So you had the objectives from the book that you obviously did some research about these people. I don't know if you know them personally. You do? Okay. But you did some research and they weren't just your own stories, so that was part of the objectives of the manual. So you definitely fulfilled that. But I know your personal objective was also to make us smile and make us be entertained. And now I am thinking about what can I do with video and dance. So you might have actually sparked an idea for me. So I would say your personal objectives, you definitely met those as well. So thank you so much. I loved hearing you speak, Mr. Toastmaster.
At Toastmasters, our clubs, especially in our district, have a tradition of having these joint venture meetings. And what they are, you have a meeting with other clubs that are in your area. Now, what if you could have a joint venture meeting with a club that's in a different continent? One of our clubs in our district, Cisco Speaks, will show you how. And we will show you a video on how they do it, and by providing a telepresence. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for Cisco Speaks presentation on their telepresence.
To read out objectives of P3.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and most welcome guests. Gary's project is Get to the Point.
Well, what we just did is we had a telepresence meeting, what's called a point-to-point meeting. So we had 2 rooms. Half the room is here in San Jose, and the other half that we had was in Singapore. This is a great idea for Toastmasters. I would like to see these meetings occurring at least once a quarter.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
It's essential that Toastmasters learn how to communicate through these new tools. And I think I'd love to see a manual come out, an advanced speaking manual from Toastmasters on emphasizing points. How do we communicate with these new tools?
A lot of information about genomes and singularity and stuff like that. So what I will be doing is to share.
I was expecting that we would have delays in our conversation, but no, it's just like we're talking across the table. So this is great. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Technologies like this are going to get more and more popular, and you'll see different ideas popping up, and the way we communicate in the future is going to change, and I think we're really on to the future here.
And what brings us together is this movement called Toastmasters, and we learn communication and leadership to enhance our communication skill, where we can bring all these skills back to our workplace, back to our family, and back to our society.
I think we're breaking into something new. This is going to be a way that we all need to be comfortable in communicating in the future. And before long, there'll be lots of other Toastmaster meetings occurring like this.
Potassium, 1R, 3N. Wish, 1 soul. Giri, 3R, 1 7 soul. Toxin, 4.
So collaboration is wonderful. Believe in the power of collaboration, and you can definitely achieve more. Thank you so much.
The major paradigm shift of the Homo sapiens is just around the corner. Welcome to the new world.
Excellent. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you, everyone. It's good to see you. Have a good day.
Hello and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video. Our second speaker for today is Kakkar, who will be speaking from the Confident Communicator manual Project 5, which is on body language. The title of his speech is, I am CoCo. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Deep Kakkar, I am CoCo.
Thank you so much. I am CoCo. CoCo stands for Confident Communicator. Raise your hand if you believe that you are CoCo. Great. Let me share a story with you from my school times. We were supposed to give a presentation based on the training that we had a couple of weeks ago. It was further written on the notice board that there will be 50+ attendees, including our fellow students, teachers, and might be principal. My friend Nehru, who was standing next to me, he said, "Oh no." I looked at him. He was sweating. He was shaking. Deep, I'm not comfortable talking in front of an audience. I cannot do this. I took it lightly. I said, Nehru, you will be fine. Don't worry. By the way, it is mandatory for us to sit in the final exam. We don't have any option. Deep, I cannot stay on the stage for more than 10 seconds. I can skip the exam, but I cannot do this. I knew Nehru was adamant. How can I encourage him to do that first step? What is the first step in delivering the speech? Write your script. Prepare your content. You know what was going in my mind? I thought, let him prepare the speech, and I will literally throw him onto the stage on that final day. But I sugar-coated my message. I said, Nehru, why don't you, put together all your thoughts and write it on paper? It will be good for our own learning, right? Was he convinced? He was. He went back, he prepared his presentation, and he got back to me. He said, Deep, I have my presentation ready. Would you like to see it? I felt a sense of achievement because I made him do this. I said, come on in. Now picture this, a big classroom, and I'm sitting exactly in the center on the front row, and I'm the only one. Nehru delivered his speech, and it was pathetic. Then I did a mistake. I evaluated him without using sandwich method. I was not in Toastmasters at the time. But thankfully, he didn't know about the sandwich method either, so nobody was hurt. But he took that feedback literally. He worked on his speech, and he got back to me a couple of days later. He presented really well. He was confident. But my concern was, I wanted him to speak in front of an audience. So I rushed out and started requesting all the students passing by. Would you like to hear my friend Nehru's speech? Guess, no one wanted to hear Nehru. I literally dragged them to that big room. Nehru was confused too on the other side. Deep, what are you doing? I'm not going to speak again in front of them. Now you know about my convincing skills. I made sure that Nehru is comfortable, and I also made sure that these new attendees should maintain their poker faces. No reactions at all, because we are here to boost Nehru's confidence. That session went well. We repeated that session multiple times with 5, 10, 15 members in the attendees. And also, next time we had people who were giving the reactions without poker faces so that he will get the exposure. Final day came. He was standing onto the stage, but he looked nervous because there were a lot many people. But he maintained his pace because he practiced a lot. I was scared personally. And I had this feeling, what if he will not complete his presentation and walk away? But I felt better when he completed his speech and he became eligible for final exams. He didn't stop there. He worked on his nervousness. He gained confidence. On annual school festival, he not only spoke, but sang in front of the whole school. Everyone was cheering and clapping for him. And I felt as a proud mentor when he found me in the crowd and he smiled. Right now, he is assistant professor in one of the esteemed universities in India. Let me conclude this this particular incident not only gives me immense pleasure, but courage to reach out to others who are in similar situation, like Nehru. There are many professionals and many students who hesitate when it comes to public speaking or presenting. In Toastmasters, I've learned how to craft a message and how to provide a constructive feedback. So last year, in early this year, I started I Am CoCo campaign, where I encourage students and professionals to come out of their comfort zone and become confident communicators. I'm proud to say that I am mentoring hundreds of confident communicators, and so that they can say that I'm CoCo, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Zeke, for that very inspirational speech. Now, let me ask you, what club do you belong to, and how long have you been a Toastmaster?
Sure. I belong to Vox Toastmaster Club, and it's been 1.5 years. I'm part of Toastmasters.
Okay. And you mentioned the I Am CoCo campaign. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure. As I mentioned, there are students and professionals who are participating in this campaign, and they are becoming CoCo. On the other hand, there are leaders, members who are running this campaign and mentoring others, and we name them CoCo ambassadors. We encourage them to open a Toastmaster club, if possible, in their area. Otherwise, at least conduct these kind of meetings so that others can get benefited.
And perhaps you could ask for some funding from the Cisco Telepresence group from the video you just watched.
Definitely.
But what's been your most memorable experience at Toastmasters?
I would say last year, a whole year I served as VP of Education at Erickson Village Toastmasters Club. I learned a lot about Toastmasters. That was a very great experience for me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
If you liked what you, worded, I'm ahead of myself. Here to evaluate Deep's speech will be his evaluator, Mr. Tony DeLeon. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Tony.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, but most importantly, Deep, I really enjoyed your speech. You told a story from the heart. I felt your enthusiasm for the topic. You told us about a relationship of you helping a friend who had a fear of public speaking. And many of us could say, well, that's his problem. But you made his problem your problem. And you encouraged him, and you nurtured him. So for me, you gave us an inspirational story. What made the story great was you gave us a lot of action. You wanted to give us body language, and you played the parts of yourself and your friend, and you gave us a lot of action to look at. One thing I would work on, besides the action itself, is maybe playing with your voice a little bit more. So when you're on one side of the stage, you're Naru. And I don't know how he speaks, but maybe overemphasize the way he speaks to make it more distinctive from Deep. So that way we get a better contrast. And I like later on, you kind of merge the two images together so then we can really focus on the message. And what you did really well is you enunciated and emphasized CoCo, that confident communicator. And you got us all to buy into that. And you gave us a conclusion to this story. It wasn't just a story that was static. This happened once again. You told us that this fellow, Naru, is now a professor and is doing very well. And that you still hold on to your principle of helping others. So your message to me is inspirational, that it gives me the will to help others in some good effort as an organization such as Toastmasters. So, Deep, you are truly an ambassador of this organization. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. If you liked what you just saw in this last 30 minutes, then please be sure to visit D4TM to find a club near you, because you get to meet with people who are interested and have the same goals as you do in becoming a better speaker, and also improving your speaking skills. So remember, go to D4TM and find out where you can locate your nearest club. Best part about Toastmasters is it gives you a chance to practice. That's what's so important with anything you do, including, yes, public speaking, the #1 thing people fear the most. But you get to practice that #1 thing you get to fear the most, public speaking. But if you look at the cost, how much would you pay to be a better speaker? You can pay a speaking coach hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars, but your Toastmasters dues can be as low as between $50 to $60 every 6 months. So when you calculate it, it means like each meeting you go to, if you meet once a week, comes out to like between $2 to $2.50 a meeting. That's like a cup of coffee at your favorite coffee place. So go get your coffee, then go to your Toastmasters meeting, and you'll just have the best meeting ever. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure hosting Beta Bay, and we gladly enjoyed doing this. I wish you all the best and have fun.